I see some similarities here. It's showtime, folks. So, Monkey Man, it's the newest release, of this week. Now, going into the movie, I didn't know what to expect. I had gone in pretty much blind. I saw a trailer early on, maybe last month, just one, and I was kind of pumped for it. It looked a little unique, it was a little different, and I was hoping for a spark. And you know what? There were flares of that. So, getting into the plot a little bit, Dev Patel plays a nameless character. He just goes by the Kid or Monkey Man, and he's basically on a quest for vengeance after a series of events happened when he was a kid. And it shows him as an adult now trying to infiltrate this organization to get close to the people he's trying to get revenge on. Now, it shows him in this underground world of fighting as well, and it kind of plays off of his character, of who he becomes. Now, getting into the pros of this movie, I like that there's a flair of originality there. Like, as I've said before, I feel like you go into movies nowadays and you have a lot of sequels or just spin-offs to the same properties and whatnot. And I do like that Monkey Man brings you a little bit of an original flair to a movie. It does certain things well that I enjoyed, primarily their action sequences, and I think those things shine throughout the movie. Another pro I have, and it's a common thing I think I'm starting to say a lot, however it has become a trope a little bit, is playing like cool music over the action sequences. I think Monkey Man has done a pretty good job of doing that in their action sequences within the movie, and it's done well for the most part. Now, getting into the mixed, and this is something that could go either way, is the camera work for this movie. Now, the camera work, in a way, it keeps you engaged. It keeps me, it kept me in the movie for the most part. There's a lot of shaky cam, a lot of tracking shots that are just designed to keep you engaged in the movie, and I think it does that. The reason it's in the mixed category, though, is that I think a lot of people would feel a different way about that. It can also be a little bit distracting, and I wouldn't argue against somebody who said that I didn't like the speed of the camera work, the movement, and how it plays into the film. So that's definitely a mixed area of this film. And getting into the cons, and there's very few cons that I'll discuss here, but the cons are actually really major in my book. One thing that I really noticed is the way they marketed the movie was not the movie you got. So when I saw that trailer that I mentioned before, the way they made Monkey Man seem was it was going to be an action movie, gritty, grounded in a realism where they're fighting each other. You could definitely feel the blows and all that stuff when it comes to the fights. And the action sequences delivered on that front. But that's where we see the con, is that you only feel it in the action sequences. And there are very few action sequences. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, the third act is the big act of the film where it picks up and you're going to see a lot more of that action. But early on, you only see maybe a couple of action sequences that are cool, don't get me wrong. But then you have the whole second act of the film that is nothing about action. It's all about drama, and it's got this heavy drama influence over action sequences. And so the action is just more of a side note in an otherwise dramatic film, which some people might enjoy, but I think is a major con, especially if it was marketed as a big time action film. Another con I have, and this is ties in a little bit to the first con, is that this movie's length is definitely felt. I felt like the movie was a little too long. Now, I'm definitely one of the people that I like a good, decent movie that, the runtime doesn't bother me, But when you get into a situation where you can feel the runtime, where the movie starts to drag a little bit, I think it really takes away from rewatchability, and that's something I really look at when it comes to rating movies, at least in my list, you know. And because of how you feel the length in this movie, portions of it drag big time. I even had some people walk out of our theater, which they just might not have been all that patient. But I definitely thought the length was a little bit too long, and it dragged, and it was just the drama aspects of the film were not hitting as much as the action sequences were, and it really took away from the rewatchability. With that, I do have to say, Dev Patel's performance was really well done. I don't think there's anything more he could have done to make this movie better. And it's a good experience as far as originality goes. But getting into my rating, I think this movie is not terrible. It's not a bad movie to begin with. The action sequences, like I said, are enjoyable. They're fun. You could really feel the brutality of some of those scenes. But the dramatic portions of the film just didn't hit the way I think they wanted it to. I think there's a certain interpretation that is lost when it's in theaters here, and I just didn't feel that Monkey Man delivered the way it was meant to be delivered for us, and I couldn't appreciate it for what I think Dev Patel wanted us to appreciate it for. So, getting into my ratings, and it's gonna seem low. Like I said, it's not a awful movie. This is above half rating, and I'm rambling. It's a 2.5 out of 5. So you're telling me there's a chance. Now there's a chance that you'll enjoy this movie. There is a chance. The action sequences, like I said, are great. They're cool, but they're a little bit. It feels like it's a replication, especially of John Wick, like you saw in the beginning. I think a lot of this is heavily influenced by action sequences from the John Wick series, which is fine. I mean, I love a good John Wick movie, believe me. I think that's one of the better action movies in the last 20 years, probably. John Wick is up there. But you lose originality points when I feel like, oh wait, this is John Wick, you know? I looked over at some of my, team, and I was just kind of nodding, like they were telling me this is cool, yeah. And then afterward, I was just discussing, well, there was a lot of like John Wick in there, and they agreed, So that takes away from originality, which is one of the pros I gave it of this film. But you also get that drama that just doesn't hit well, and I want you to understand 2.5 is not poor. That's like right average. That's an average movie. But there's a chance that you won't like this movie. Maybe if you're like into the more artistic kind of side of film, you're gonna be into this. You might like the drama a little bit more than I did. But since it was marketed more as an action movie, I went in there expecting more of an action fighting movie. And you do get portions of that, but it was more of a dramatic film. And for that reason, it's a 2.5. It's a 2. So you're telling me there's a chance. And yeah, I mean, Monkey Man, it was cool for what it was, but I definitely wouldn't rewatch it, and I wouldn't go and say that this is one of the things you have to watch this year. But what did you guys think of Monkey Man? Did you already check it out? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Disagree with what I'm saying? Are you planning on seeing it? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, we'd appreciate it if you subscribe. It helps the channel grow. If you haven't, go ahead and like and share this video. And ring the notification bell for our channel to get the updates on Chuco's Powerhouse Cinemas. We're starting to do new things. We're doing Chuco Power Picks now. So be on the lookout for those, for movies that are a little bit underrated, I would say, and that I would recommend you check out. But anyway, guys, if you ever find yourself in an underground fighting ring, it's like my friend Bobby used to say, and that